And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Karina from Sweden. She is a psychic and a remote viewer who has had telepathic contact with aliens, angels, and other high cosmic beings. Karina, welcome back. It's good to have you again.
Thank you, Jeff. It's nice to be back again. And thank you very much for having me this time again. And I look forward to this.
I'm looking forward to an amazing conversation. And even though our video got lots of traffic last time, there may be some people that are just meeting you for the first time today. So can you briefly tell us, first of all, how did you start having contact with aliens, and which aliens are they?
At least I can answer the first question about how it all started, because it started when I was very young. I was 6 years when I had my first encounter, and I didn't really at that time understand what happened. But it was a very interesting experience where I was removed from where I was and put on a very different place. And I was asked to go to some other place, which I refused to do. So I was put back again where I came from. But I remembered very, very clearly all that happened and the choices I had. And I met with the being later on, this being who had removed me from this place and kind of abducted me, if you call it that. And it was a very interesting being. And we had a lot of contacts later on in life. So that was my very first experience. And it has gone on and continued year by year since then with different beings.
When you say you were removed, does that mean physically or just taking your consciousness out of your body and taking it somewhere?
When that happened, when I was 6 years old, I can't answer that question. I don't know really because I had no idea about such concepts at all. As a kid, you don't know if you are in your body or not in your body. You only know where you are conscious or not. So I can't say for sure. But when I started to remote viewing, very weird things started to happen to me. Normally, when you do remote viewing, and I suppose many people who listen to this also know that, you are not supposed to be seen. That's the thing about remote viewing. I mean, it's used for spying on enemies. So you leave your body on your bed or in the house or wherever you were, and you go out of your body and you are conscious, and you can see, you can hear, you can move, but you are not supposed to be seen. The very, very odd thing is that I can't be seen by humans when I do remote viewing, but by non-human beings. They see me and they interact with me. That's why I have very interesting meetings with them, because they see me as I am, with body and all. Or without body, it doesn't matter.
Are they always friendly?
No, not all of them are friendly, but those who have contacted me have been very friendly and very helpful.
Now, were you trained as a remote viewer, or is that something that came natural to you?
I have no idea, but it has been like that all my life. So I suppose it came natural because once I was told that in previous lives, many years ago, I was hybridized. That means I was kind of a non-human being mixed with a human being and became something in between. And that has been in my genes ever since. So maybe that is the reason why I am kind of recognized by them out there as one of them, as well as one of human beings on Earth. It could be an explanation.
Do you think this being that started contact with you when you were 6 years old is a member of your alien family?
No, but a very nice acquaintance, because that being is the guy I call lizard man. He's half lizard, half man in appearance. He is much taller than normal humans and has a rather forbidding face, but he's very kind. So I met him several times in different circumstances, and we are not, as far as I know, related in any other way, just friends.
Since you call him a lizard man, would you classify him as a reptilian alien?
Yeah, yeah. He is, but not. There are reptilians who are kind, and there are those who have a very bad reputation. And this guy is apparently one of the kind ones. So I have had no problem with him. He lives on a planet in our solar system far out. And other people who have done remote viewing have also come upon this being. So it's verified by several sources that there exists such a being out there. And I have found where he is, and I can more or less point out where the planet is, where he lives.
Would you say it's past Pluto?
It is far past Pluto, yes. Because
Interesting.
there are a few big and small planets out of far beyond Pluto.
I would think that it would be too cold there to support life.
I don't think life as we see it would exist there, but maybe life of other kinds. Definitely, lizard man lives there, and but he lives inside the planet, not on the surface, which might explain how he can survive.
Right. Maybe it has a molten core like our planet and it warms up the inside.
It is possible. I have only seen his mansions or rooms. I haven't seen the rest of the inside of this planet, but I guess there are many corridors, there are many cavities and things in there where there is possible to live.
Has he ever revealed to you the galactic history and especially Earth's history and how humans came here?
He hasn't, but I have got it from other sources. And it is very interesting. I can promise that what I tell you is true, but this is what I have heard, and I have no reason to doubt my sources. And they tell me that humanity once lived on Sirius, on the star Sirius. And from there, some of them came to planet Mars in our solar system and lived there for many, many millions of years. When Mars slowly started to lose its atmosphere because of the low gravitation, because of the loss of iron in its core, then humans decided to leave because they couldn't breathe. The air was too thin. And then they left for planet Earth and populated this planet instead. But there are, and I have seen it and I've been there are still our ancestors living deep inside Mars. So there are beings there. I've been there. Other remote viewings have also been there and met with them, seen them. I have talked to them. I've been inside and I've been shown how they live. So there are not so many, but there are still people there. And I would say they are humans, even if they look a little bit different from us, because they have a lot broader shoulders and more lung capacity, because they need that, because the air is so thin. But they are there. And that's trouble, because we have problems. If we are going to colonize Mars and there are still already people there who live there, how do we treat them? Will they will they? I mean, they are scared right now. They know what we are planning, and they are very scared.
What about the history of life itself? Has anybody ever shared that with you?
No, no. I know a lot about how. I know a lot about what life there is in our universe, but how it originated, no, I don't know that. I would love to know, for sure. Maybe someday I will ask the question and someone will be able to tell me.
Have you been following the 3-eye atlas
Yeah, it's
object?
interesting. Yeah,
What is that?
there are two objects, the Oumuamua and the Atlas. They are very similar, and they're both of a character one would suspect that they are not normal objects, normal comets, nor meteorites or whatever you think they are, but they are probably, I would say, probes or something sent from another civilization to this planet to explore it in a way. So they are not coming, I mean, none of them is coming very, very close to Earth, but close enough to scan the surface of Earth and see what happens and report back.
Do
So
you
I think they are kind of scouts. They are probes to come here. They are not enemy. They are not hostile in any way. They're just investigating.
would you say that it's some type of comet or asteroid that's a naturally occurring thing that's traveling interstellarly, and they just attached a probe to it?
Hard to say, but I think these two are made to look like asteroids, to not kind of scare someone. And they are close enough to scan the Earth and see what we are doing. So I think they are just sent out and will return to where they came from eventually.
Can you tell us about some of your more spectacular encounters?
Yeah, I will be happy to do that. But before I do that, I would very much like to discuss with you when you talk about encounters, you mean with what one used to call alien beings and what we are now called non-human beings or something like that. And I would like to define them first.
Sure.
So we talk who we are talking about. Because normal people talk about humans on Earth, and then there are aliens, which are more or less in our imagination, beings on other planets. And then we have the angels in heaven, and there are gods above them. And then there may be something else which we don't know. There are also, mythological beings and all that. I would be very radical and say there are no gods. There are no angels. They are all more or less extremely evolved non-human beings. Those whom we call extraterrestrials are of two kinds. Either they live on planets or they live in space and have no bodies. Those we call angels are extremely evolved beings, not living on planets, not physical, but very, very helpful and kind messengers amongst everything else. I mean, they do lots of things, but they are messengers most of all. And those we call the gods, including Christian, Muslim, and Islamic, and all those Hindu, and all these gods we have on Earth and we worship, are, as a matter of fact, extremely, extremely evolved spiritual beings. And we can continue to call them angels and God, it doesn't matter, but should be aware of that they are also intelligent beings, though it's all only a difference of frequency. And we are on a very low frequency, and they are of an extremely high frequency. And being that, they are able to do a lot of things that we can't. They may, for instance, they could shapeshift. They can take on a physical body if they want to, and move to any planetary system they choose and work there for the benefit of the inhabitants. And they can do lots of other things which we would normally regard as impossible. But they are of another dimension, another frequency, maybe also another timeline sometimes. So, but they are still intelligent beings. And some of them even take on the shape of animals and plants. So we can't exclude them from this line. So everything is connected to everything else in a great, shall we say, net of energy.
Are you also saying that there's not one source of all creation? One, like one God or one source that put everything
There
in
is
motion?
there is one source, but it is not a God. It is not a one God. It's not the same thing. But the source is, it is the collective, it is shall we say, the essence of the collective consciousness, all of it. So it's a super mind or a super essence or a super energy, which is all of us together in all the universe or universes. I mean, we have millions of galaxies, and there are billions of solar systems, and we don't know, but all of us connected is source in a way. So it's just a real, if you could imagine a super mind, that's what it is. But it is not a God. It is an intelligence, a very, very, very wise, apparently wise and good intelligence, but still the sum total of all that exists. That is source. But source is able to communicate with, which I think is wonderful. And we do it by what is called the field. We can also do it when we are in a special mood, like prayer mood or meditation mood, and so on. It's possible. Yeah. So that's what source is.
Sometimes some of my near-death experience guests will comment that while they're on the other side, they're in a field, like you say, where they know everything. They
Yes.
just can't bring it back.
Correct. There is a field. There's the 0-point field. The researchers and scientists call it a 0-point field because there's no physical matter there. There is no movement. That's why it's called 0 point. And it's where when all boils down to absolutely nothing at all, everything is only charge, and that is all there is. If you have a body and you go down the layers to the atomic levels and so on, and what is atomic level, it constitutes, there's electrons and there are lots of little things there, and when you go down to the bottom of it, you find nothing but charge. And that is what this field is about. So you can use this field if you can kind of if you know how to go there, you can use it for contact with absolutely anything, even people who are the deceased ones, the spiritual guides, everything is there.
Do you feel that these highly intelligent beings are still here guiding us?
Some of them are here, or at least accessible to us. They are not physically here, but we can connect with them. We can communicate with them, and they are aware of us. I mean, we are on a very, very small planet in the outskirts of a very small and not very interesting sun in a galaxy, or one of billions of galaxies. We are not special, but as they have consciousnesses which are much more encompassing than ours, they are aware of even of us and are willing to help if we ask for help.
Is
And they
that
do.
is that asking on a personal level or a collective level?
This is both. I mean, we pray, don't we? We pray to those we call the gods or the angels or the aliens or whatever we call our helpers, and ask. And we are in a special mode when we do it. It doesn't mean we have to pray or kneel or do things and gestures, but we have to feel the need for them. We have to feel the very personal need for them to come and help. And it could be collective, it could be personal. It doesn't matter. They react both.
Now, have you had contact with any of these beings?
What beings do you refer to right now?
The gods, the highly
Yes.
intelligent ones.
Very many people have reported contact with angels and archangels. As you know, it's quite common, really, because they are aware of us and they are there to help us. And when we try to contact those whom we call the gods, I would say I very, very seldom have any answers from them. But when we talk about those we call archangels, yes, I have been in contact with a lot of them during my work during the last 40 years, where I have worked a lot with systems which include archangels and what they stand for, their symbols and all that. So there have also been personal contacts. It's rather, like this. But it's a bit scary. It's wonderful. It's yeah, it's hilarious. It's very, very different to really have a contact, to get the answers, not only to pray to them, but really get a contact. It's a life changer.
I previously asked you about some of your spectacular encounters, and you wanted to first define who the gods and angels are.
Yes, and my more spectacular contacts have not been with gods or angels, but with extraterrestrial beings. There have been contact with the angels also, but not. That's not. I don't count that as encounters. The encounters have more or less been with beings like I said before, lizard man and others like that.
Do you have a favorite being that you communicate with?
I do have. I do have. Um, it happened many years ago. I think I talked about that in our last program, didn't I? About the Arecibo message. We people sent, our scientists sent a message in space many, many years ago, where there was encoded in this plate things about humanity, genetic code and how many we were and where the planet is in relation to our sun and so on and so on. And we sent it up into space. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. 25 years later, there was a crop circle in England, and this crop circle was it looks almost the same as our message, only it was slightly different. It was from out there somewhere, and they had a different. They were on another. They were on other planets. They were, I think, they were living on 3 planets in their solar system, and they were a little bit genetically different from us as well. And this was sent at the same time as another crop circle showing a face of something, somebody. And I was interested in that face because I thought, it looks a little bit like me, as I did at that time when I was younger, at least. And I thought, I wonder who it is. I would like to meet this person. And this was this field where the crop circle was very close to the Chilbolton, which is a radio telescope, kind of something in Western England. So I started to call this being on that crop circle for Chile. Chile is short for Chilbolton. So Chile, as the chili you eat. And a few weeks later, when I was asleep, I woke up suddenly by the feeling that somebody was standing by my bed. Yeah, just like that. And I looked, and there she was, Chile, standing by my bed, smiling at me. And I thought, I am hallucinating. This can't be true. So I very, very carefully stretched out my hand to touch her. And she felt soft and warm. So she was real. There she stood by my bed, right beside me, the one I had seen in the crop circle, the one whose picture they had on the ground. And she didn't stay long, just a few seconds, and then just smiled and left, and was just suddenly disappeared. But I have been in contact with her many times after, and we have been friends, and it seems she has showed me where she comes from, and I didn't understand because their star maps don't like our star maps, so I couldn't identify any star system. So I really don't know where she is, but she's a very, very beautiful and kind woman. So that's I say woman because she can make herself human-like if she likes to. So one of my closest friends from out there.
Do you consider any one of your friends out there to be your teacher?
No, not really. Of course, they all teach me a lot of things. For instance, you have probably heard of something called the Galactic Federation.
Yes.
And they also have a fleet of ships which are supposed to look after the peace in the galaxy, more or less. And the former chief of this galactic fleet contacted me once and asked me if I wanted to know anything about spaceships, what we call, their vessels. And I say, yeah, of course I would. Yeah, please. And he took me up to his ship and placed me in front of it so I could see what it looked like from the inside. And we made a tour in it as well. But I could see how it was maneuvered. It was very interesting. If you, for instance, have a car, you have a steering wheel, right? And you have a lot of things and other things around. If you have an airplane, you have also steering gear things, and you can do a lot of maneuvers with them. Here, it's just a flat thing, like a very flat, very thin thing in front of you, and you put your hands on it, and you do all of it by mind. So there are no things apart from this, and you just put your hands on it, and you can decide the height of your ship, or if you're going to turn right or left, or what speed you have, and all that. And you also have a map in front of you show you where you are in space. And he explained that it takes approximately 1 full year to navigate within one solar system. If you go outside of the solar system, it will take you 2 years of training before you are let to leave your own solar system and go out in space. So they seem to know what they do. And that was very interesting. And he's a very kind guy. And he's retired by now and is somewhere else for the moment.
Is there a secret space force which humans are working together with the aliens?
I wouldn't call it very secret anymore because you, as you know, as some of you know, you may know it, and maybe others who listen and look here tonight also know there have been crashes. There have been spaceships that have crashed onto ground on our planet, and in most cases, the crew, the people on board, are dead when found. But in some rare cases, there have been survivors. At least in the United States, these survivors have been engaged by the military, which is very, very secret, of course. And there are a lot of underground tunnels and rooms in many, many, many layers, in many, many, many places, in many, many bases in all over United States, in Russia, in China, and in other places where these extraterrestrial beings have showed our scientists, military experts, and people like them how their vessels work. And the Americans, most of all, have made copies, have made their own vessels with the foreign technique, and have managed, for instance, to travel in space above America, and managed how to work with gravity, which we couldn't before. So we have learned it from them. So there is a cooperation, but it's quite secret. It's not very well known, but there are those who have taught your mechanics, your scientists, to how to build these ships and to make perfect copies of them. So some are already here, and there are others who are also here, but who have taken on a look that is so much a lot like normal human beings that we can tell them from others.
So you're saying that there are aliens walking among us on the planet?
Oh, yes, there are.
Lots of them?
There have been aliens on this planet probably for millennia, long before there were humans. And they were there, for instance, in the times of what we call Atlantis. They were there in earlier times, the times of Romans, and time of Mesopotamia and all that, old Egypt. And we can see it from their myths, because what they have is mythological beings with, a human head and a body of an animal, or the opposite, and lots of things, because they learned to make hybrids from these extraterrestrials. And they tried out what works and what doesn't work. Mermaids, and winged bulls and all that. And also those so-called gods that came from Atlantis over to Egypt and became the famous 5 Egyptian gods, Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, and Horus, and Set, all extraterrestrials.
I've been saying that I want one of these aliens on the planet to come and be my guest.
Oh, but you have to wait 2 or 3 years for that.
Only 2 or 3?
If things happen as they should, and I can see no reasons why they shouldn't, the first to be contacted on Earth will be towards the end of next year, and there will be a much more contact in 27. But first they will contact those people they have selected for contact, those who are unafraid of them, who are immune to their bacteria, and who are what we call the psionic people, who are different in their mind, who are very, very clever. Could be children and could be adults. And they will contact, and they have contactees already, of course, and they will contact these people first to assure a calm and positive welcome when they come later on in many of them. But there will be no mass landings on football arenas with giant ships as in you have seen in films. They will come slowly, carefully, and let us get used to them first.
Are you saying that in about 3 years from now, they will be walking among us?
Yes.
And we'll all be...
At least some in many, but yes, there will be quite a lot in many places and a few in other places, but they will come more and more as we ask, because we ask them for help. Many people ask them for help, and they are willing to help because they have seen our situation. I am one of those who are who know about what happens in the Council of Nine. The Council of Nine has existed for many, many, many thousands of years. Maybe you have heard of it. It's a council where every planet, every inhabited planet in our solar system meets and has a say, has a representative, and discuss the questions that arise in the solar system, within the solar system. And so those who live, let us say, outside of Pluto, know exactly what happens on Mars, on Venus, on Earth, and so on and so on. So it's a lot of information coming there. And if some of these beings who are in the council report something about extraterrestrials, all of the others will know. So information spreads very quickly by that organization, which is very interesting, because you can get a much more, shall we say, a wider view of what happens than what we see only from our planet. So, but yes, they all agree that extraterrestrials do indeed plan to come to both to planet Earth and probably also to our moon.
Would you agree that we're kind of in bad shape here and we need outside help to straighten things up?
You just have to watch television, listen to the radio. You know, we have wars, we have famine, we have mass migration, we have a lot of bad weather, and it's getting worse. There are inundations, there is drought, there is everything you can wish when you want a really, really bad situation. And it's getting worse all the time because we have misused the resources of the planet. And now we have to pay the bill. So I think we need them.
So
Also, our leaders are not the leaders we need in these times, because they hold back. They prefer oil, money, and power to world peace and prosperity for all. But we have chosen them, so we have to live with it.
well, last time we spoke about a big event that is coming.
Yeah.
Is it still coming?
If you talk about the big event that some people call the wave, yes, it
The
is still
wave. What is
the
the wave? I forgot.
the big wave. And some say it's a big wave of water. Others say it is more, it could be a wave of something else. They don't know. But there are those who say they know when the wave will come, and they say probably in the late 60s. So it's quite some time until it will happen. And we don't know exactly what kind of wave it will be. We don't know how disastrous it will be, but it will probably affect most of the planet. It will probably kill lots of people. It will probably be unstoppable. But that is all we can only speculate right now. We don't know. We haven't exact information yet.
Well, that's about 40 years away. And if the ETs are going to be on planet in the next few years, do you think that humanity will be interplanetary by that time anyways?
Yes, sure. I think so. Because the extraterrestrials want us to be galactic beings. They want us to go out not doing war, but doing trade. There are many other planets who need metals that we have, metals and other things that we have in our soil. And we can go and get things we need from other planets in peaceful trade. And that's what they hope for and want. That's what many others do out there.
Besides the ETs, what else do you see that's coming in the next couple of years?
During this century, if you keep to this, what is it, 60, 80 years ahead, something, 25 years, 75 years. If I would like to cover these 75 years, I would say, apart from extraterrestrial beings coming, helping us, they will not change the present agenda. They will not stop the climate changes. They will not change anything. They will just help us to manage what happens until these forces have done what they came to do. And when let us call it the evil forces or the bad forces or the negative energies, perhaps. When these negative energies have done what they came to do, they have no reason to stay anymore, and they will have to go, and they will go. So towards the end of this century, there will be seen something which has started already now, but it's so small it can't be seen really, but it will grow. So in the it will start to be seen maybe in the late 60s or 70s, a new movement. It is kind of, shall we say, I don't know how to express it, but it consists of both alien beings and those who are very, very young now, those who are born now, or small babies now, and not yet born, and but will be born within the next 20 years. These young beings will be grown by then, and they will start a peaceful, loving, very simple but very spiritual new kind of society, where there are no borders, no politics, no churches, No governors, no presidents, nothing of the kind, but all people living very peacefully together, trying to live from what they can get and what is left. And this will eventually, slowly grow into something very, very peaceful, but very strong. And it will be the new Earth, what we call it. The new Earth with new people, with new intentions, and a completely new paradigm. So that will be what happens during the next, during the end of this century.
Will our DNA change and we'll all become hybrids if we're not already? And if we already are, will we become?
Some of us are hybrids, but not all, far from all. I think our DNA will eventually change, but I think that will be on the request of each individual, not automatically. The hybridization will also happen if there is if people ask for it, not automatically. But these young beings are already, those who are born now are already a little bit genetically different. So you will notice the difference, but you will not notice it until they are grown. It's a small difference, but it has to do with the DNA composition, but I can't say exactly how. I'm not a scientist in that field, so I can say, but it is about the DNA composition somehow. So they will be very peaceful people and intelligent and very loving. But everything in those systems will have to go first.
Is there anything that's coming in the near future that we must prepare for?
Yes, sure. First of all, we must prepare for more wars. We must prepare for contagious diseases because they will spread with a warmer climate. So diseases that have been in, in jungles or in Africa or South America will suddenly appear in Utah, Montana, and Minnesota, or we will have things in Europe that we hadn't had before. All these things will get worse. So we will have to dimension our healthcare for a lot of new diseases in other countries than there have been before. So we have to kind of be prepared for that. We also have to prepare for inundations, because within short, big areas will be underwater. We have already seen in some districts, you have had it in New York temporarily, and you have it in other places. You will see most of, say, Florida or Mississippi underwater. And you will have to know, where are all these people going to go? We have to move people. In the end, big cities, really big cities that are built close to water, will have to be abandoned. But that is a few decades away from here. But we have to think about lowlands now, because there will be a problem and people will have to move, and we have to prepare for that. Other things that will happen and have to happen is there will not be enough money in the banks. So either they will have to, we will have to pay more taxes, or we will have to be poorer, or in any other case, something will happen with the banks, because the banking system can't provide as much money as is needed. For instance, for all defense, it costs millions and billions and billions of dollars to defend a country, and you need new airplanes, new robotic systems, new drones, everything, and submarines, and God knows what. So you know that it will be very, very expensive if people go on making war as they do right now, and they seem to go on with it.
How are you personally preparing?
You know, I'm so old, so my private life and my personal life isn't very interesting to me, excuse me, anymore. I'm 80 by now. I can't expect to live more than 10, 15 years more. And in these years, I am on a mission. I am supposed to go out and tell people what is going to happen and how they can manage. So make people aware of what is coming. I can prevent what's coming, but I can at least prepare people for it. And that is what I need to do, and that's what I'm concerned with. My private situation is kind of not so important in such circumstances. But of course, I have a private life as well, so I have to care for my family and so on. But I'm a widow with grown-up children, so it's not so terrible. I mean, it's things I can handle.
Well, what else should we prepare for?
We should prepare for, let me say this, people will probably kill me or shoot me for this, but I was going to say it anyway. We should prepare for two things. First of all, for everything to get a lot worse. A lot worse. I mean, more worse, more wars, more disasters, more of everything that is terrible. Lots of people will die. Millions, billions will die. I say perhaps 70% of the present population will be dead in 50 years. The second is to keep up hope, to know that it will have to happen. All this needs to happen for the good thing to grow. So, you know, there is kind of a balance in cosmos. There is a balance between good and evil, light and darkness, night and day. There is always a balance. And now the very trouble that we have right now with wars, with all these climatic disasters that follow, and all the system changes that come after it, with all things just falling into pieces like a house of cards, we will know that this will disappear, and the good and benevolent things will grow at the same time. So when the really bad things are over, say around the 80s perhaps, then the good beings, the young children have grown, and they have started to build this new earth, the new communities. So people will be prepared. Those who have survived are in a very, very good position, because there is already a community built for them, and they will be part of it. So there is good news in the end. We just have to live through these bad times first. And they have to develop, because we need to be aware of what we have done to our planet and to ourselves. And when everyone is aware of it, and sufficiently amount of people have disappeared from here, either killed or taken away by the aliens to other places, then the Earth can kind of breathe again and start anew. So that's what's going to happen, both bad and good times.
Is it possible that since the aliens will be walking among us, Will they be involved in these wars as well?
No, they will try, they'll keep out of the wars, but they will try to, no, they won't be engaged in the wars at all. They will watch and say, humans are very, very peculiar beings. They war against each other. We don't understand this, but they will not engage in the wars. They will let us have our wars to make us learn from them, but they will not interfere.
What will the role of AI be in our future?
I wish I could answer that. It will play a major role, but exactly how is still in the stars. I don't know how, but it will play a major role in some societies on Earth. In the 30s and early 40s, it will take over totally, and people will be they will be chipped in the thumb or somewhere, and they will be governed by AI in their homes, and they will there will be an experiments in the Western world mostly with AI, and AI will kind of more or less take over the whole society. But that is not for the whole civilization. That is for certain parts, maybe a county or state, or even only a few cities or so. But it will be an experiment with AI.
Do you think it'll be a good thing?
People who live in those societies will think it is a good thing because they are brainwashed to think so, and they will live a very, very. I mean, many of them will think it's heaven. Others will say this is abnormal, this is terrible, and we will do our best to avoid it. So it is an experiment, and it has to end somehow, as if humanity wants to be the governing force on this planet, we cannot let the AI govern us. There has to be either control over the AI or, which is much better, a cooperation, man and robot together. Because if we have the AI as our slaves, there will be what slaves normally do. They will not accept, and they will take over, and we will not accept that. So we have to keep it on a level that is more or less even.
Since you're from Sweden,
Yes.
you're obviously aware of the gods Odin, Thor, and the others.
Yeah.
Would you say that those myths are actually extraterrestrial beings?
There came from southeast or east beings to the Scandinavian countries in those times, beings who had powers that were an appearance that was quite unlike ours. So that's why we call them gods. So, and it's exactly the same with all other gods, the Egyptian gods and everything. All these gods, you have pictures in stone of gods from South America, for instance, and from islands and from everywhere. These so-called gods were, of course, extraterrestrial beings coming into a society where they were regarded as gods because they had properties and knowledge which was far beyond the population. Also, there are still beings that are very different from us, but live with us, but you may have seen, at least some of you have seen. I refer to the Sasquatch.
Do you think that we will consider any of these new ETs that will live among us as gods, or we've evolved past that?
We hopefully will evolve past that. There are people who are very keen about their religion and who will never, never, ever let go of the notion of gods. I know that. But especially these times we have seen with in politics how religion is mixed up with political ideas, and it makes people rather, I don't know, there is a frenzy sometimes. There is very bad things happen when people kind of mate religion with their political faith. But many will keep to their old gods. And I think as long as they live, we can't ask them to change. They should, but they won't. And, well, better leave it at that. But those who are different from us are normally also from another origin.
Humans appear to like to worship other humans or gods. It's whether they worship a sports hero or a movie star or an actor.
Yes.
Do you think our DNA has been modified to worship?
I suppose so, yes. I suppose so. I've never really thought about it, but yes, it seems plausible.
If we get back to remote viewing, what have you remote viewed on Mars?
When I learned remote viewing, our teacher, who had been a part of the staff at Fort Meade in the United States until 95, he started to teach us in Sweden, amongst others, and he gave us several opportunities to remote view Mars, the planet. And one time when I did that, I happened to land on my back, lying flat on my back on the surface of planet Mars. And I couldn't breathe. I mean, there is so little oxygen, so I suppose my mind made me think I would die from loss of oxygen. At the same time, something came. It appeared to be a being who just took my body and dragged me into a cave inside, and there came, I should say, a doctor of some kind, and helped me to recover again. I thought they rescued my life. They saved my life by this, and I think they thought it too. Later, when I have thought about this, it is a very odd thing to happen. Because, first of all, I wasn't supposed to go there with my physical body at all. So I couldn't die in that way. The body couldn't die. Second, they shouldn't have seen me if I did remote viewing. Everything was very, very, very odd. But I stayed there for some time, and I made friends, and I saw a lot of things. But it is very, very odd that some people are seen by these extraterrestrials and some are not. That means that those who are seen probably are extraterrestrials or a mixture or something that are different. And that is something that I think science should look at and hasn't done so far. The other thing I would say, which is extraordinary, is why haven't science ever taken incarnations seriously? Because a lot of knowledge comes from our previous incarnations, or incarnations that are before even time existed. I mean, the very first ones, when we were among archangels and angels and other beings, or perhaps depending on where we come from originally, and that has not been investigated. It's only said as, oh, incarnations, you may believe in it or not, and just we are ridiculed if we talk about it. But it is a serious matter and can explain a lot of things and a lot of memories people have from previous lives that they think are their own, or maybe they are their own, or they are other people's memories. But in any case, we should investigate these, because they will give the answer to many, many, many questions people have. Not only the memories, but also their DNA, their behavior, their kind of how they choose to live, and so on and so on. I think that is one of the most important questions for science, for medical or psychological science right now. And one thing more I would like to mention just before we end it, religions will go.
There will be no more religion?
There will be no more established religions.
How will they disappear?
A little, bit by bit, people will kind of, I think many religions are oppressive, and people don't like that, and they will not have them. Other religions are more or less not really asked for anymore, or people are getting more and more secular. I think the first thing to fall is the Pope, and then the rest will go with them.
What do you mean the Pope will fall?
I mean, maybe this is the last the two popes. Maybe there are no popes anymore. In a couple of years after this one has died, and maybe the next one, then there will be not any popes more. And the Catholic Church will not be the same after that. And there will be, of course, a lot of unrest in the religious life of people when this happens, and there will be kind of a snowball effect. So in the new earth movement, religions will not exist at all, because all will be equal. We will not worship gods. We will know about the extraterrestrial beings, and we will kind of hold them in awe. We will not worship in the same way. So we will not need religions. We will not have any of these old organizations, either political, religious, social, or anything like that, left in 50 years.
Well, once the ETs are walking among us, won't people lose interest in religions just from having them around?
Yes, people will get used to them and understand what they are, and yes, more or less losing interest in other things. Yes.
Is it possible that traditional religions will be replaced by some new modern religion?
No. And one other thing that I think could be very interesting to very many is the fact that a large amount of our present population will, in due time, be transferred to other planets or celestial bodies.
They will offer us to leave and
They
go to
will
other.
offer us to take us out of this and start a new life on other planets.
We won't be forced.
No, they will not force us to do anything. They will just watch, and they will listen, and they will do things that we ask them to do, but they will not force us to do anything, and they will not try to stop us doing what we're doing until we ourselves realize that this doesn't hold anymore. We have to change. And then the change comes. Slowly, 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 but unstoppably.
Do you think that our lives will ever be extended and we'll be able to live a lot longer?
Yes, I think we can, within a few, say 5-10 generations, expect to live until we are 120, at least. Sometimes even more, but at least 120. That would be the natural lifespan for a human.
Right. I think that's what we're already supposed to live to is 120.
Yeah, but it will not only be possible, but it will be the normal thing within a few decades. Because all these diseases will go with the old world. So we will not have so many diseases. Science will evolve. Medical science will evolve enormously with the ETs, because they will teach us how to cure a lot of diseases and how not to attract them in the first place. So they will help us with that. So we will live longer and healthier. Also something to look forward to.
Do you think that ETs ever try to contact us through our dreams?
Very often. That's a very easy way for us for them to contact us, because these ETs contact us normally through, you know, how should I put it, subconsciously. And when our waking mind is rolling and working all that time, we have no place and no time for them. But when we sleep, we are more open to contact. So they very often come in our dreams and influence ourselves, our minds, even our bodies sometimes, with new ideas, which we can accept or not. I mean, we are free to say, okay, that's a good idea, or, oh no, I don't want that. So they never, ever force us to do anything, just suggest things. So they're very, very more, I say they are more intelligent than we are, because they know what to do and what not to do. And they are all, those who come here, most of them are intelligent and benign and know what is good, both for themselves and for us. And they really want to help us,
Is
both to heal, to stop wars, to stop all this destruction of the planet. They
is
are interested in helping the whole planet, not only humanity, but plants, animals, the elements, everything. The forests, the polluted oceans, everything. They are interested in helping and restoring.
is there a way that we can contact them or at least increase our contact with them? Because sometimes I feel like I'm getting contacted in my dreams from ETs, but it's kind of a spontaneous thing. I can't.
Yeah, it's mostly that they contact us. I mean, I've for years asked for contacts. Please come down to me and show yourselves to me. I'm not afraid. I want to see you. And they don't, because they choose when they come and to whom they come and when and what. So, but they very often come in dreams. And when we sit and, let the thought wander away and we're just in doing nothing, perhaps, or go out for a walk in the forest, that's when they come in.
It appears that there are more UFO sightings than ever. Do you
At
think?
least in your country.
Yes.
Yes. We have had them, in December, January, there were heaps of them, and there were lots of them. There were three kinds of them, and there still are. One is alien ships or alien vessels or alien something that came to overview and came to investigate and came to just check what happened. Then there were others who are already on planet Earth and who live in volcanoes and on the seafloor, seabed, and in mountainous areas and God knows where, but who live among us and who took part in this also and flew around everywhere. And then there were the, what do you call it, those that built from humans, those ships and drones and everything, also taking part of this. So there was at least three parties swirling around everywhere, doing things, and very confusing time when there were so many. There are still a lot around everywhere, and we have today there are sightings from all over the world. Most of them are foreign, but some are our own. Things are in other parts of the world, apart from North and South America, are mostly extraterrestrial.
Have you seen UFOs?
I have been part of a Skywatcher group now and then, so to say, different groups. And we have been skywatching, and I have also on my own, I've seen things on several things on the sky. Mostly it's just a little white dot that moves around. You can't say if it's a satellite, if it is of or alien origin, or whether it's just an asteroid or whatever it is. But sometimes I've seen things that have behaved so oddly that I can be sure it was of came from outer space. For instance, I was with my husband standing in our garden, and there was suddenly a strong light on heaven, and it was directed straight on me. And I thought, can that be a plane or kind of, something, a laser beam or something, laser beam or something? But then I moved about 100 meters, and it moved with me. So I thought, yeah, it's someone up there checking me. Another time I was out in the field, I saw something up there moving like a helicopter, like this, but it was dead silent, no sound at all. And it stopped and it moved back like that. And a helicopter can't do that without a sound. So it was also a kind of something. Such things have happened to me regularly all my life, since I was 6. I have seen things, I've been touched by things, and I have been communicated, I've been approached by beings, and I have almost every day been in contact with some of them in some way for some reason. If not anything else, they are very interested in my computer. So when I sit at my computer and I try to write something, they interfere. And they use my fingers to write things. Very interesting. I get messages by that.
Do you think that they're here with us right now?
Sure, they always are. I mean, thinking of it, our conversation must interest them. They know we talk about them. They must be interested in knowing what are we saying, what are we predicting, how do people react to this? So of course they listen, and if they think we are wrong, there will be repercussions there. I will have to take it. They will be on me and tell me, you did say that, you said that, you did that, and we will punish you some way. No, they will not punish me, but they will tell me I was wrong. But you do your job, so you will be free of any adverse effects of this conversation. But hopefully they will also contact some of those who listen to this or look at this, because there may be some beings there who are interesting for these extraterrestrials to contact. So you never know. You never know the effects of what you do. That's a fine thing about meetings, communication, because you never know the outcome.
You're so right.
It could be much greater, much more interesting than you can dream of.
You're very right about that, because I don't even realize sometimes where these podcasts are being watched and how people from all over the planet are reacting to these things.
Yeah, they do.
And sometimes it gets back to me.
I got at least 25 letters mail from all over the world. From China, from Australia, from England, from a lot from America, from Europe, from all over.
That's amazing.
but listen to you, who are obviously listeners who listen to all of your pods.
Well, if somebody wants to write you after this one, what is your email address?
I can say it aloud now, and I can even spell it out if you like.
Sure.
Okay, my email address is Carina.hultqvist@gmail.com. I spell it out. Carina spells CarinaHultqvist. That's my name. Hopeless to pronounce, but you can write it to Carina.hultqvist@gmail.com. And everyone who is interested in this extraterrestrial question or whatever, UFOs or what have you, are welcome to write to me. And I promise one thing, I always answer all emails, even the nasty ones or the evil ones and the negative ones. So you are welcome to write to me if you like. And I'm happy to have this opportunity, especially to talk with you, Jeff, but also with all the listeners and the watchers.
Karina, before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
I will leave you with this message then. In the end, all we do and say and think is, in a way, already decided by us on beforehand. Everything that happens has to happen because there is a law, a cosmic law, and there is nature's principles, can we call it, according to which everything has to obey. And we are all under that cosmic law. So we have nothing to fear because this law makes everything, it corrects everything. So if something goes out of law or out of the principles and is wrong, it is going to be corrected. So all we do now, if we do something wrong, it will be right in the end. If we do something right, it's very good. So it will all end very well to everyone because it will all end according to nature's principles, where everything has its place, everything happens in the right order, and according to what we could call the will of Source, which is the will of everything in connection with everything else. So we are all a wonderful, enormously large, great, beautiful community, all living beings together. That's my message for the future. Have no fear, have fun.
Karina, thank you for your message and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me again. I'm so happy to have been with you and to have taken so much of your time and the time of others. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.